Disclaimer. The story you're about to hear is based on the true near-death experiences of a woman named Anna Maria. All emotions, insights, and visions have been reconstructed through her expanded consciousness and first-hand testimony. Prepare yourself for an intense journey through two extraordinary glimpses beyond life, where Anna Maria's body lay motionless, and her soul traveled far beyond. My name is Anna Maria, and what I'm about to share with you is something that has shaped my entire existence. Not once, but twice, I stepped beyond the veil that separates life from what lies after. These weren't dreams, they weren't visions. They were experiences as vivid, if not more vivid, than any moment I've ever lived on Earth. The first time it happened was during one of the darkest chapters of my life. I had tried to end my suffering, not once, but 5 times. It was during one of these attempts that everything changed. My heart stopped. I slipped into a coma. I was declared clinically dead. Yet in the stillness of that state, something awakened. I wasn't conscious in the usual way, but I was hyper-aware. I could feel the pressure of hands turning my fragile body, the sting of tubes being inserted, the cold air of the sterile hospital room. I heard the beep of machines, the murmur of voices, the sounds of life continuing around me even though mine had seemingly ended. There were long moments of nothingness, deep, thick silence. But even in that silence, I felt a strange presence, like my awareness had expanded beyond the body. And then I rose. Effortlessly, I floated above my body. I watched nurses rushing. I saw the medical team moving quickly, calling out instructions. I wasn't afraid. I wasn't even curious. I simply was. Weightless, detached, still, present. Then it began. A gentle pull, like a current in the ocean, drawing me into a tunnel. It wasn't dark, it was soft, like dusk. There were arrows along the sides, glowing symbols that guided me forward. Around me, images flickered. Memories, perhaps, but not from this life. They were from other places, other centuries. Faces I didn't know but somehow recognized. Then I found myself seated in a quiet street paved with stones, lit by dim lanterns that gave everything a golden hue. I was in rags, barefoot, clutching a piece of paper and an empty bottle. I was crying. A voice, gentle, kind, whispered, "Stay there. He's coming. He'll help you." Moments later, I was lying on a bed, still disheveled, but now being tenderly cleaned and comforted. The man tending to me was Luis, my husband in this life. His hands washed away dirt, but more than that, he radiated love. Nearby, a child sobbed uncontrollably. I couldn't see her, but every fiber of my being told me it was my daughter, Talita. Her cries shattered me. It was the only moment during the entire experience that I felt anguish. Deep, unbearable yearning to hold her, to comfort her. Then another voice broke through. "Come back, Mia, it's not your time." Mia, that was my family nickname. And the voice, it belonged to my brother. I didn't see him, but I knew. The return wasn't through the same tunnel. It was like being swept backward by waves of memory, of purpose. My soul resisted. I didn't want to leave. I needed to see that child. But the voices calmed me and promised I would remember that I would return with knowledge and strength. And I did return. When I awoke, something fundamental had changed. It was as if a veil had been lifted. My soul had cracked open and refused to close again. What I had witnessed wasn't punishment. It wasn't an illusion. It was a gift, a truth my spirit had long forgotten but desperately needed to remember. That scene, Luis caring for me, wasn't fiction. It was memory, from another life, another time. I had known him before, and now, in this life, I was given the chance to love him, to care for him as he once cared for me. It was a cycle of souls, a promise across lifetimes. Years later, a second near-death experience found me again. This time in a surgery room. The procedure meant to last 4 hours took 9, and while the surgeons worked, I was elsewhere. Unlike the first experience, this one had no tunnel, no street, no cries or past lives, just light. an overwhelming presence of energy that lifted me without struggle. I floated first over my own body, then far beyond the hospital. I was in a place that didn't exist in our world. People were there, but they weren't like us. Their smiles were silent transmissions of peace. There were no mouths moving, no sound. Yet I heard everything, in my mind, in my heart. They welcomed me. They told me I couldn't stay, but they didn't push me. There was no force, only love. And this time, I wanted to return. There was no fear, no sadness, only clarity, purpose, the understanding that I had more to do. There was no concept of time, no sense of space, just presence, just being. And that was enough. When I returned to my body, it was smooth, almost unnoticeable. I blinked, breathed, and knew. I knew what had happened. I knew where I had been. People often ask me, did your spiritual beliefs shape these experiences? Perhaps, but I believe these experiences transcend belief. They are not filtered through dogma. They come from somewhere far older, deeper, more ancient than words. These weren't religious visions. They were raw truths, messages etched into my soul, that we are not alone, that we are not this body, that we are not this moment. I saw that love binds souls across centuries. I saw that what we call death is merely a turning of the page in a much longer story. In one lifetime, Louis saved me. In another, I saved him. And through it all, my daughter's soul sang to mine, calling me back, reminding me why I stayed. So let me ask you something. What if death is not an end, but a doorway? What if your pain now is just a chapter? What if the people you love have loved you through many lifetimes and will again? These are not fantasies. I have lived them, twice. And I can tell you, nothing you do is ever lost. Every act matters. Every soul remembers. You are more than you know. You are light. You are eternal. If this story moved you, please share your thoughts in the comments. Have you, or someone you love, experienced a glimpse beyond? Subscribe to our channel and become part of a community seeking the unseen. The journey doesn't end here. In fact, it may just be beginning.